Hello everyone, it's Laurel here from Forever Purple Creations, and I'm here for my first ever voiceover for the 100th time. Anyway, if everything could go wrong, it did go wrong with this video, so I am going to try and pay attention to what I'm doing and tell you what I'm doing. This is a long video. I can't figure out how to cut it yet, but I'm working on it. So, I am here for the December Daily Advent tag, day 25, which is a day that Tracy added along with day 26. And these are the tags I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using the picture and the back tag. I'm going to try and watch what I'm doing so I can tell you what I'm doing. I'm talking a lot here. I don't know why. I think I'm telling you all to please go. If you haven't watched the December dailies, please go watch them. So much inspiration, so many amazing creations. I just can't believe some of the things I saw, and it was amazing and kept me busy the entire month. I looked forward to each video. And join in and have fun and gain some inspiration. This one is, I got a package and I had Tracy's Digis out and I just got an idea, and this is where I went with it. I tried to cut out as much as possible, um, but it didn't do that. And if I can figure out how to edit this later, I will. Right now I just need to get voice to it that works properly. So I'm waiting for me to start touching the pieces so I can show you what's going on. I know I'm going to tell you what I backed the tags with, and then I'm going to tell you where each piece came from, and then describe to you what I'm doing. So as soon as I finish chit-chatting about who knows what, I don't know, we'll carry on. So la 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 la, I should be doing that any minute now, but maybe not because I seem to want to talk with my hands for an awfully long time. Not sure what I was talking about this whole time, but it went on for a little while. I just know when I uploaded the original video, it was 10 minutes behind, and I don't know why. So I think I'm telling you what I'm going to do on the day I'm doing it on. Okay, now here's where we should start. So let's go. So the 25, okay, I'm still talking, but we haven't touched anything yet. Oh my goodness, what could I be saying? Oh, that's the tree. The tree is from day 9. The stars from the Stars Digitals. The like cards, the I forget what they're called. They're like word cards are from the word card kit. The bubble or ornament is from the Glad Tidings from last year, and the leaf I believe is from day 22. And then she had a freebie for the word phrases. Those are all the ones I'm using on my tag today. The main ones I'm using on my tag that came in the kits. And I'm going to continue to talk some more. I don't know why. I don't know what I'm telling you from left to right. I'm just obviously in a mood to talk with my hands. So glad I can't hear everything I'm saying, because I would have probably stopped myself already. And I'm going to wait for her to pick up the tag on the left, and then I can tell you what we're doing with the tags today. I just know I'm very excited to work with this, and I think I'm talking about that and how this came about, and I'm not sure. And we're still waiting. Okay. I sure hope this is recording. It looks like it is. It looks like it's doing it in slow-mo. Oh, I might be picking it up pretty soon. I don't understand what I'm talking about forever and ever and ever and ever. We're into 4 minutes and I'm still talking. But the video didn't start till 10 minutes in, so it didn't even say, "Good morning, this is Laurel from Forever Purple Creations. How are you today? It is now Christmas Day. Merry Christmas. Um, Happy Hanukkah, Feliz Navidad, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you're celebrating around this time of year. I hope that you're spending quality time with your families. That's what's important." And I'm still talking. And I just don't understand why I'm talking forever. about the tags. I'm so tired now I can't even remember what I should be talking about anymore. I just know I would like to get this video up because I would like you guys to see it. And I spent a lot of time working on it, so hopefully we're going to get started on it pretty soon. Again, not sure why. Please fast forward. Speed 2, fast forward and start it. Start at the beginning where I say good morning, then skip from 4 minutes to 6 minutes, and then it should get going. So I really don't know what happened. Or just skip the whole beginning till I start working on the tag. But we should be coming to that any minute now. I don't know why it seems to be taking so long for me to use my hands for everything but crafting. We're just talking. Thank goodness I have a big cup of coffee sitting next to me. I might possibly fall asleep during this. Who knows? Oh boy. And there's some parts like this in the video, and I just spent an hour trying to edit it with this new program I just bought, and I can't figure it out to save my life. I had it all done, and then as it was uploading, it shut down and it didn't save it. Okay, that's the back tag. We're going to put that to the side for now because that's going to go on the back. Here we go, finally. And I'm going to tell you how I backed the card with probably a cereal box or a cracker box because I have collected them for many years. They make sturdy bases when you're making tags or folios or, just putting dimension on anything. So you're going to see that it's on all the pieces. I'm going to show you the little family card next, the one that says family. And those were out because I was going to make a charm. I do not end up having time to do that, that one is backed as well. So it's thick and I can, put a ring through it. I don't know why I got to talk about it for 10 minutes, but anyway. Then the bauble and the star are just both backed with a thicker piece of cardstock. And one side is printed the right way, and then I reversed it so that the picture faces the other way, so that when you put them up together, it looks like you're seeing through them. And then the little leaf is actually going to be a door closure, but I don't think I need to talk about that now. And I'm going to keep talking, and I'm not sure why. I can't read my hand signals, so I don't know what I'm telling you. I don't understand what is going on. What is with all the hand nonsense? I don't remember it looking like this earlier today. But anyway, hopefully we're going to get started soon. So we're going to move. Oh, yay, we're going to do something. And I'm going to use the star. And the 25 has glaze on it. And it's raised on a piece of card, the black cards, the thick stuff. I'm going to be using frosted, I can't even say it, grit paste snowfall and frosted something. Oh, where is it? Frosted crystals, which I didn't even let you see. And then I was also going to be using embossing glitter, which I do not use that either. I'm showing you some bells, and I have some charms for the dangle I was going to make, which I did not have time to do that either and decided not to put this on this for how it turned out. Here we go. Here's my inspiration. This little package that I got my distressed tinsel and garland glitter in. And this is when I was sitting with Tracy's Digitals, and I was like, oh my gosh, and an idea came to my mind. And I had to see where it was going to go with kind of what I envisioned in my head. And I actually love the way it turned out. So I took the little tree from page 9 and I printed it out 4 times regular and then 4 times in reverse on my Word program. So I stretched it longer and made it thinner after I measured the package, and I do that in my Word program so that I get exactly what I'm looking for. And then it's going to fit right in that package. And it's going to be a tree. So there's 8 of those pieces right there. and it's going to be a three-dimensional tree. Now, could I have used a bottle brush tree? Sure. But what fun is that when you can sit and play with Tracy's digitals and fussy cut out 8 little trees and then ink them. And when you do it one regular and one reverse, when you put them together, they match perfectly like a mirror. See how that's wrong? If I did them all the same, then they wouldn't fit together. But if you mirror them, then when you put two together, like if you're making a three-dimensional snowflake, then that's how it comes together. So I'm going to show you that in a second. I feel the need to pull it up close and show you what I'm talking about. And I'm sure we've all done this with many things when we want to make them more dimensional. I don't know if we usually do it like this with trees and stuff in journals, but if we make snowflakes and things like that, you can do this same process. And I'm going to continue to drink my coffee. I'm sorry, I need to stay awake at this point. We have Christmas starting in 2 hours, so I'm hoping to get through this video and get it saved the correct way so I can get it uploaded. And I'm still talking about the tree. So I'm going to start putting some of them together, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about, as if you don't know. But there may be some people that don't know, and I want to kind of explain to you guys my process and why I do what I do, and these things get my brain functioning, and this is where my ideas come from, is when I do this kind of creating, and this is the only way I know how to create. Every time I try and do something different, it just keeps flowing as I'm going, and ideas come to mind, and I have a lot of trial and error, but I just keep going till I figure it out. So there, you're gonna see what I'm talking about. So I think I'm gonna go off. I'm gonna pause, and then I'm gonna glue all those together, and then I'm gonna come back. And I wish I would just come back later, because there's some parts where I shouldn't have turned it back on yet, and that's why this video is so long. Okay, voila, I'm back. Woohoo! And I now have a three-dimensional little tree. I did leave one side open because I wasn't sure if I could close it yet for the idea that I have. But if I would have thought further, I would have known that I had to close it for what I have to add to it. But I needed to make sure that the centers all didn't get closed together, if that makes any sense. So I will eventually close that up before I get to the next step of what I'm going to do to it. But it's just now a three-dimensional little tree. And it's going to sit inside that package. And then I also cut out the tag on the digital on a piece of vellum that's going to sit on top of the other picture. And then I have a piece of acetate with a part of the picture on it as well. And I did that in advance because it was a little tedious, and I had to make sure it matched up to my standards of perfectly, because I need that package to sit on there, and I didn't like the way it looked sitting on top, and I'm going to show you what I mean. I'm just weird about how my things are put together. So now I'm backing back out. I'm going to show you what it looked like. See, I didn't want it like that. I didn't like that. And to me, there was no way to make that secure enough. I could just see that end up being bumped and coming off. So I wanted it behind the vellum, and then lined up with the other image over a piece of acetate. And then it looks like one tag again. And then the tree will be sitting in there like they are sitting, the tree's in their living room, and they're sitting behind it, reading, or I think she's doing music. I'm not sure. I'm so tired now I can't remember the picture, but I'll see it again in a minute. And there's a little Santa peeking through the window, which I'll have. Oh, okay, she is doing music. She's, or they're reading books, one of the two. Looks like Mom's got a big music book or something, though. So I also cut out a piece of that 12 by 12. I'm going to call it, it's not cardstock. It's like the thick chipboard that you can buy from Walmart.com, and I cut out a little frame because that acetate needs to go on it. Because I need some space in between because I am putting in lights. So I want the lights to go around the window, and I need there to be space for them. So that's why that piece of acetate is going to go up on top that little frame, and the lights will be behind it, and then of course the vellum will get glued on the top, as I just showed you a moment ago. So I'm just kind of showing you the layers and the process of what's going to happen. And now I'm going to kind of explain to you what my plan is for this project. And some of the parts, it took me a minute. I was going to do something else and don't need them anymore, but there's that black cardstock again. I just doubled up 2 of them to make it a little thicker. I'm saying that I was going to paint the sides green. I didn't end up doing that. And then I had this extra piece because I think I was going to use like a head pin that was flat, and then I was going to put that piece on the bottom and cover it and use just that disc. But then while I was at work, and see, I'm sitting here figuring out, what am I using this for? And then I realized, oh yeah, that's right, we changed what we were making and we don't need that. The little one, however, is going to go inside the package, and it is going to get glued down. The bottom one will not, but this one will get glued down. It's kind of like the tree skirt. I was going to crochet one, but of course I think of these things at the last minute, and I did run out of time. So this one's going to go on the bottom, and in a second you're going to see what's going to happen. So it was just supposed to be that and a flat head pin, but I found this cool thing at work, and it was perfect for what I want to do. And it's some kind of, I want to say it's some kind, it looks like some kind of key. And that's it right there. So it's actually going to go through the bottom of that one. Come on, get it on. There you go. And then it's going to go through the package, and I punched a little hole in the package, and then the tree skirt one's going to go on top of it. Oops. If I could hang on to it, it's going to go on top of there, because I just have massive butterfingers while I'm filming this, and all kinds of issues and errors and glue problems. So, do you see that? That little thing's going to turn. And hopefully, we're going to put the tree on there. If I can get my hands to work. And what I want to do, and don't ask me why, but something told me, and of course it's not going to do what I want it to do right now, I'm just being silly, but I want the tree to turn. I just had this idea that I needed a moving tree in their house on the front of this tag that is now going to be turned into a tag ornament. I like to turn tags into things like wall hangings and all kinds of stuff. So this one is going to be an ornament that you can hang on your tree. I don't know if you ever bought those ornaments, but I have some on my tree. One's a carousel, and they used to have the ones where you'd take the bulb out and push it into the back of the ornament, and it would light it up. I don't know if anybody remembers those. We still have a few of those. But this one is this one you're looking at right now is hanging on my tree right now. Now I'm talking about how, because I'm using vellum and acetate, the ideal thing would have been for me to sew, because we all know the glue issues we have with plastic and vellum and acetate. So I figured sewing would be the best bet. But I wasn't thinking again, and obviously I don't think my needle is going to fit down the side of that. It may fit really close to the edge, but then my problem was, if I mess this up, I can't practice it. But if I mess it up, there will be no more tag, because I only have one of those packages. And I'm not going to wait a month to order another one to try it again. So now I'm just thinking it through, because there's a couple times I wanted to start gluing this part down, thinking it was ready to go. Well, it's not, because it needs to have the tree inside, so I really can't glue it down yet, and the tree's not even close to being ready. And I'm just seeing which way fits best because one way has a little bit different of an arch than the other, and I just want to make sure I have it in the right way where it's sitting flat. So I'm just measuring it up and looking at it to see which way I wanted the piece of the packaging. I am going to start doing some series with packaging. I've been saving up quite a lot. So I'm also going to be working with some of my crochet and tatting this year, and hopefully some of my beading, because I have a lot of things sitting and I want to start incorporating them into the things that I make. Sorry, I'm drinking coffee. So those lights are going to go around the window that Santa's peeking in, and then I left the rest of the strand and curled it up, and it's going to go in the bottom of the package at the bottom of the tree. I wanted it to go around the tree, but when I decided to make the tree turn, I couldn't do that anymore. So because it would pull on the wires. If I just left it stationary, it would be great, but no, I had to have it turning. So I figured I couldn't do that. So we're going to set up how we work out with the lights and everything. And again, I needed to think a little further. Sometimes my my hands go faster than my brain, and I get ahead of myself, and then I have to back up because, you know, I should have done it differently. Now I am using the grit paste snowfall, which has an iridescent glitter in it, because I just decided this tree needed to have snow. Yes, it's an indoor tree with snow, but you know, our trees we buy have flocking and stuff on them like they're outside, so why can't my tree have snow on it? So that's what I'm going to sit here and do. Well, most of it's out, some of it's in frame, a lot of it's out of frame, because it was a really long day, and I don't even know what day it was anymore because I barely know what day it is right now. I can tell you I haven't slept since yesterday at 8 o'clock, and I went to bed at 4:30 the night before, which was actually morning. So I have been busy working on these projects and not getting much sleep, with also adding in finishing wrapping my presents, the working in the storm on Thursday, and, you know, battling with this freezing cold blizzard, which a lot of us are dealing with. So I hope you're all home, warm, toasty, safe, and sound. And I'm trying to pass some time while I am putting this snow on this tree. I don't even know how I know what to say anymore because I've done this so many times. But I am determined. I will not quit. I am determined to get this video up. I wanted it to be up at midnight as soon as it hit midnight, but thank goodness I watched it first before I hit go after I uploaded it, because it would have been bad. I would have been getting all kinds of messages going, what are you talking about? What are you doing? Where are your hands? So, and I'm probably going to repeat things because I don't remember what I said, because I've done so many of these and I don't know if I said it 10 minutes ago or, you know, in the last video. But all the links for the advent tags is in a link for Tracy's shop, and you just go and click on it and click on the day, and it takes you right to that person's video for that day if we're on that day. And also in her shop she has the freebies for these two tags for Christmas Day and Boxing Day, which is the 26th, and I think you can actually technically use one for New Year's Eve as well. So there's plenty to keep us busy, and that's because when a couple of the people last year had requested to her that they wished there had been, you know, one for Christmas and stuff. So that's why she did that. And I'm extremely happy she did, because when I saw the post and she wanted to know if anybody wanted to do some more days, I was like, I'm in. And yep, that put tons of pressure on me, which I like and I work best in. So I think I finally put away that grit paste. Oh, this cool little tool. Well, not tool. This cool little device. Although it is a tool. It is a glitter sprayer. And it sprays this fine mist of glitter. Now, I have the very fine mist glitter in there. I don't know if it does the other glitter as well. But rather than just chunking it on when we dump it on, this does this cool little mist. though I didn't put enough in the bottle to get the suction going, and so it's not coming out. But I'm going to tell you right there and have you point to it and go, do you see the glitter? Nope, you won't see it. It's way too far away. So do it on paper, because when you're done, when the bottle does have enough in it, you will be able to pick up what's left and put it back in the bottle. See, I was showing you. See the glitter? Do you see any glitter? No, neither do I. I don't know why I'm pointing to that, because we're not putting glitter there. So I don't know what that was about. I would have to go back and watch the original, which I really don't want to do. So now I'm talking about the window and the Santa and what I'm going to be doing with the lights. While my tree is off drying. Okay, and we're back. So now I have my packaging, what am I going to call it? My tree window glued in, and I did use some collage medium. It worked a little, it took a long time, and then I tried glossy accents, and that worked okay, but I noticed those things started wrinkling the paper. Oh, see, now you can see it all sparkly and glittery, and it's all dry. Isn't that pretty? It looks just like a Christmas tree. All right, back to the packaging. So it started like wrinkling the paper, so I decided I didn't want to cover the whole backing of that paper with what am I saying? What did I just say? The whole with the liquid glue and have it wrinkle it all. So I end up using double-sided tape, which I think will hold very well, and it did. But at least I got that piece glued in. And once it's flat on the acetate, it's going to give it even more support. And that's my concern, is that this has, is very sturdy. Now I'm rubbing all these down all the way around, so that when I pull this wonderful tape off, that is not my best friend, when I am, when I pause it and go to take it all off, it's a nightmare. It the white top layer on that tape never wants to come off for me. It just refuses, and I have a major problem. And you'll see later when I do the window, it's just like, I don't understand. I use a very fine tip awl, and it says, nope, I want to give you one more problem today. And my one concern was, that I prayed for, is that there wouldn't be sound issues. And there weren't sound issues. It just didn't start where it was supposed to start. So now I'm talking about that I'm going to use collage medium for the window, but, it doesn't dry instantly. So I'm going to put double-sided tape down around the window first, and then collage medium, so that I don't have to worry about it ever coming up. Now I'm going to discuss the lights with you, on how part of them are clear and part of them are colored. I did use my alcohol inks, because those were going to wrap around the tree, and now I'm going to show them to you all lit up. And I even did that to my real tree in my room. The ones that were clear, I made purple. So I thought that turned out perfectly. So if you ever want to change the color of little mini lights, use your alcohol inks. And I wanted the ones that are going around the Santa to stay the clear, because it's kind of like a vintage old world style picture and Santa. And I just think that color behind the vellum is going to look more like that, vintage, like not a white, but a yellow white. And now I'm discussing how I want to make this circle stay a bit better. And that I think I'm going to get some wires. So it's going to take me a minute to get this wire, even though it's right behind me, because it's the third container down and I don't want to take anything out. So I'm taking a minute to get this wire, and oh boy, wait till you see the wire. Because, I just have to giggle at myself sometimes for the things that I do, and the undue stress and that I cause myself. And we're still waiting for... There it is, voila! We have wire. Can you even see that wire? No. So what do? I take the smallest piece of wire possible that can be used. And then I wonder why I can't get it to wrap around around the lights, because if it was any smaller, I'm lucky I can see it or pick it up. So I'm going to bend it in half with these cool little pliers, of course, out of screen. I tend to be out of screen a lot, and I think the camera just shrunk while I was filming. And I said I wouldn't be able to make 2 of these, so if this all doesn't work out, there is no going back. So I have to fix the sound. So I'm trying to put this wire on that obviously is not going to cooperate, but I'm going to keep giving it a go. Still not working, and then it fell. Oh, wait. Can I find it? Can I see it? So I think I'm going to go hit pause, and I'm going to go and put this wire on these lights. Then I'm going to come back. Voila, I'm back. I don't know if I did anything else because it's still I'm looking at the same stuff, and I can't even talk anymore. So again, I am going to play, and I'm telling you, I'm going to put the double-sided tape around that frame as well, because that can stick to the vellum, and it'll be okay. So I'm going to go off again. So why I came back already, I don't know. I just feel the need to share with you my process of what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. That acetate is merely there to hold that piece of paper because the vellum is so thin, and put a space between this and where I needed to put that packaging. And also for the acetate to be lifted so that the lights can go behind it. And now here's where my brain wasn't thinking. I'm discussing how I need to make a slit in the bottom of that picture to get those lights through, because I didn't think of that before, that they need to go through there to reach the tree. So I really don't want to cut a big slice in it, so after I just put that wire on, I'm going to clip it off. I'm going to unwrap the whole thing. I'm going to punch a tiny little hole in the tag, and then I'm going to feed the lights through, wrap them back up, and put some wire on them, and you're not going to see any of that. Thank goodness. So all my process, it's all a process, step by step. Not all steps are in order. Alright, and if I close my eyes long enough, I'll probably be asleep. So I'm trying to stay moving right now because I'm afraid I'm going to fall asleep. Okay, voila, and I'm back again. And we're still looking at that. I keep wanting to glue that down, even though I can't glue it down till almost last. So I've got the little hole. And then there's the lights that are going to go around the bottom of the tree. And then my window. Now here you get to see me try and pull this wonderful white tape off that should just, I watch the girls on YouTube and stuff, and it's like, whoot, whoot, whoot. Not me. So I don't use that stuff often for anything, but it's good for this kind of project. At least it was very helpful to me. All right. And I'm talking about, I don't know. I'm talking about the 80 layers this tag's going to be when I'm done. I think I'm talking about why I'm using this and how I dislike it and how it doesn't like to work for me is what I'm talking about. So I'm going to get my very sharp awl, and I'm going to try and just slide it right under that paper. And it's saying, no, let's push it down some more. Let's try it again. Persistence pays. And voila, finally I get one. But that's as far as I go. Now the other one's stuck. This is where my desk is going to become messy because I lay these over there, and that's the start of the mess because I don't put them in the garbage. Because now my brain's going and I need to get this tag made, and I'm watching the time. I can't even get some little pieces of paper off. Look at this. Talk about a chore. Here we go. And the last one. I just don't want to fall asleep during this video. I really don't. I have another half hour to go. And I was going to just put it up and tell you guys to watch it with no sound, but, someone's going to be compelled to push the button. And I don't know how to take the sound off. So, and I don't want to watch a process video where there's no kind of sound at all for this long of a video. I mean, I want to show you my process, and I want you guys to kind of see where my brain goes as I'm doing things. The ideas just continue to grow, and that's what had happened throughout the week. Now, it looks like this is all an idea I had right away, but I I played with this stuff all week, and I had the idea, but I couldn't put anything together because I only have one of those packages, so I cannot make two of this tag like I did on day 4. That wasn't going to happen. So it was all touch it. Ooh, this would be cool. I had so many different ideas of how this tag was going to be made, and it's completely different than how it originally started, but that's because my thoughts start getting clearer, and my ideas and things, and it just worked out. So now I have a brand new full bottle of collage medium, and I thought it would be great in a bottle, so much easier to deal with. But you're going to see me acting as if I'm trying to get the last drop out of this bottle. My arm is actually shaking while I'm trying to put this glue on, and I am having clog issues with every one of my nozzles on my bottles today. Look at that. I'm like my hand is shaking. I'm squeezing so hard. And it's a full bottle. And like nothing's barely coming out. But we're going to keep trying. We're going to get it because I'm not going to quit until I get it. I will come back in a minute and put a little more. I don't know why it's not coming out of the bottle. And now I'm just going to, that's my alarm waking me up. Well, I haven't even been to bed yet. I'm just pushing down all the metal that's going to be behind the acetate and making sure it's stuck to the tape. And then I'm going to put the collage medium just over, oh my goodness, just over the wires and stuff to make sure that once, that they're dry and that they're down, so in case that tape comes loose. I mean, I understand these things aren't going to last forever, but they should last for quite a while. And all of my digitals, of course, why it looks so vibrant and colorful is they are all printed on the Epson photomat paper. I believe I used 48 weight, and I also found a new paper. It's called Koala photomat paper, and you get twice as many pages for a little bit more, and it's definitely worth it, and it prints just the same. It's awesome because I've been looking for new paper because that Epson paper is not getting cheap. So I was just about to show it to you as if I was live. All right, and then I decided I needed to make garland with this beautiful gold trim, gold thread that I used on my tree in my day 4 with my snowman. And I decided I needed to make real garland with, what looks to be lights on it. Those are 15-0 seed beads. And you would think I took a ruler and measured every 1/4 inch. So I was up Friday night doing that till 4 in the morning, putting little beads on here. So now I'm going to explain to you about these very cool beading needles that are like this wrapped wire, and they have a little loop at the top. So when you're working with beads that small, you need a small needle. But now if I get a small needle, that thread's not going to go through it. So these beading needles have a loop at the end. So what you do is you put your thread through it, and then you put your beads on it, and I'm going to show you, like you can see it again. When you pull the beads across it, it flattens out that little loop that's at the top, the little circle, so that you can keep adding beads, and it holds the thread. One of the greatest things I started using many years ago when I first saw them with my beading and stuff. It just makes life so much easier. So for any of those that like to make the dangles with the smaller beads and stuff, Hobby Lobby and all those places carry those. They're called beading needles, and it's like a really thin bendable wire, but they're super strong, and you can use them over and over again until they break. They do eventually break. And I left 4 of the beads on there because I felt the need to show you how to make the garland, or how I made the garland. I wasn't sure who would be interested and who would and who wouldn't be interested. But notice you can't really see what I'm doing. So I'm putting them about a 1/4 inch apart again. And I'm just putting a drop of glue. And then I slide the bead by the glue. And it kind of holds it in place. And then I'm telling you about the stones, not stones, the whatever they were that I used on my tag. I was going to use those, but then I changed my mind and wanted garland. And right about now, my hands are so covered with glue, it's not funny. But I felt like you needed to see this part that you can't really see. I think that just got very loud. Okay. So now I'm going to take the beading needle off and I'm going to show you how you can spread it back out and reuse it and get that loop. And I'm going to take this very pointy awl and stick it at my finger because that's a wise choice. But I'm determined to get it. I'm determined to show you this little loop that when I do show you, you're really not going to see. And the only bad part of this is I don't think I can pause. I don't know if I pause if it will start again because I haven't used this program before. And there we go. I finally get it through. Now look, do you see it? No, you can't even see the wire. How can you see the little circle? I see it because I, oh, there it was. I see it because I know what I'm looking for, but I'm sure you didn't. So that was important. Okay, now we have our garland. Now we're going to wrap our beautiful tree with the garland, and it is measured out to reach all the way to the top of the tree. I measured it out as I was making it. Now, what's nice about this tree is the thread locks into all those little weaves and bobs that are on it, and I'm actually going to cut a little slit in this after I glue to hold it in place, because that makes all kinds of sense. Should have cut it first and then put the glue, but no. Again, I must be tired or my brain's not working correctly. And then I'm going to start to wrap it. And I think the first time I start up too high, so I'm going to make you watch me do it all over again after I unwrap it. Just because I'm concerned of how this garland looks on this tree. All this tedious work, but I don't know, as I do this kind of stuff, my brain is still going, and I think that's what it is when I do this, then my brain continues to think and come up with things to try, and not that, you know, you want to try when you're filming and then it doesn't go. So now here I go, I'm taking it all off and I'm going to rewrap it again. I'm so afraid that if I pause this, it's going to stop and then want to start over again, and that'll really upset me. So we're just going to kind of go with it here, because my coffee's almost gone already, and I'm going to need another cup to stay awake. I'm going to be opening my presents with my eyes closed. And now I'm going to tuck the top end of it inside the tree, and I'm using glossy accents for that. And it's still freezing and really cold here, but the sun is shining today, and there's not a cloud in the sky. That's why it's going to be so cold today. Now I'm going to cut the excess, tuck it in, cut more excess, tuck it in. Oh. And you know, I could have cut this tree out on my scan and cut, but that's no fun when you can cut all these out by hand. There, now I have my beautiful little tree with the frosted crystals and the glitter and my, you know, faux lights. Now we're going to cut that end off. Make sure that's glued on, just checking it all, and I'm going to put that to the side. Now I'm making sure it still fits in my package and turns. Yeah, get all. Do you think I would push the stuff out of the way? No, I just keep sliding it over a little, like I'm oblivious to how things are starting to build up on my desk. And again, I'm looking where these lights need to be. Didn't I move my tree out of my way? Why is my tree still sitting there? And I see a little piece that I lost last night for my awl, but I don't see it now, so it must have hit the floor. And I'm putting a little piece of tape on there that you will never see, just to make sure that that corner stays down. There's double-sided tape there, but I need that piece to stay straight so that it comes down to where the lights that came through for the tree are going to be. And of course I'm measuring a million times just to make sure everything fits, because we need it all to fit and we need it to line up. And then I stick my head in the video a few times. That's because my webcam is literally right here. If I lean over a teeny bit, you're going to see the top of my head. So I decided to glue this one because I'm using that, God, I wish I could remember what it's called. I want to say it's chipboard, but it's not. That black, I think it's heavy duty cardstock. It's just the thickness of it. And then I'm gluing to paper to the tag. So I know those two are going to stay. So that's why I'm using a liquid glue here. And to me it wasn't coming out. I guess it was, but I wasn't seeing it at the angle I was at. I just like to make sure my stuff is going to stay together, so. It was really hard to work with that tag because it was constantly in my way and there was just nowhere I could really move it until I get the lights in and the tree in and and see, that's why I had to glue the tree closed, because I had to put the garland on, so it wouldn't have mattered. Okay, and here we go. I just have to make sure that lady lines up, the window lines up, so that it still looks like one picture. And that worked out pretty perfectly. It was probably the only thing that worked out besides the window that went right on this project. And then I also put a little slit in the side right there so the rest of the wire and the battery pack could go behind and not get in the way of the window or the acetate. And I'm trying to be careful because I certainly don't want to break this wire right now. There we go. And that part's done. Voila! And I'm going to turn it on and show you. And I'm showing myself, making sure everything still works. Gotta test it 100 times. And I am going to put my tree on. After I'm just checking out the wire and making sure it's going to lay flat at the bottom one. And this is where I should have made the bigger circle so that I could wrap some of the wire, just tuck it under a little bit. So I'm going to put my center thing in. And then I'm going to add my tree. I'm gonna fill. I was gonna use art glitter glue, but then I figured glossy accents would work better. Again, glue issue. So while I'm putting the tree in and gluing, I will be right back. It's the only thing about doing it like this. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Am I done putting the tree in yet? And I'm turning it like it's going to turn now. I just put the glossy accents in there, so it's certainly not going to turn until it dries. So I'm telling myself that. That was silly. We need to let that sit and dry, and then I think I'm going to go and come back. Yep, I did. And there I did again. Went and stuck my head right in the underneath the underneath the webcam because I can't even pay attention here. I think I like doing it like this because you actually can see what you're doing and it doesn't make you do mindless talking. Sometimes when I'm on and I'm creating, I'm kind of mindless talking because I feel like I need to talk to somebody. But when you're actually watching it and talking about what you're doing, you're watching it, so you're not making it at that moment. And if I would quit talking with my hands, it would work a lot better. Even as I'm sitting here, my hands are going. You can't see my hands. Why am I using my hands? Now I'm talking about how I was going to put that card on the back and let it be flat as just the back of the card, like the back door. But then I realized, well, I don't want this battery pack just sitting on the back of here with wires hanging, especially if I'm going to hang this on a tree. So this is where I meant ideas come as I keep going and I'm touching things. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make the door open and put the battery pack in there. And then I'm like, okay, now I need really thick chipboard or something for the depth of the battery pack. So I pulled out some book board and put a couple of pieces together and made sure it was enough space for that battery pack. Now I'm discussing how I need a hanger to hang it on the tree and that I should have put it in between those two pieces. But I put it on the back and in between the front piece and it worked out just fine. Now I'm talking about the all the branches and stuff I fussy cut out the other night, probably hundreds of them. And then I added some frosted crystal to those two, and it kind of gives it like when you go out in the winter and the leaves have all that ice and frost on them. Although you can't see it, so yeah, that was good showing it to you and explaining it to you because you can't even see it. But I can see it. The cameras lately don't give justice to much of anything. So that's going to be something that's actually going to go on the front. And for some reason I'm thinking right here it goes on the back. And it doesn't because the back is flat. And now I'm talking about the dangle. I don't know why I keep saying the yeah, right? The dangle I was going to make. And I actually don't have time to make it, so. That's what those pieces were for. Or a charm. I probably will make one. I don't know if I'll put it on this because I'm kind of using it as an ornament. Not that it can't have something hanging from it, it can. And now you're going to get to see me ink. And now I remember why I did this because I created those when I paused, but I didn't think about inking them. I don't like white to show through or cardboard to show through. And I'm using my Rustic Wilderness, which is like a deep evergreen to me, which is perfect for like a Christmas green. But you're going to see me kind of ink every inch of this thing. Although I'm out of frame most of the time. I don't know. The camera just is like so weird right now. But usually when I ink, I always ink close to myself. And my new table setup is different. So it's something I'm trying to get used to. So I apologize for being out of frame. But you're going to continue to see me put green all over this. Now I should have done this after I put this together before I hit start again. And obviously my brain wasn't working again. So I'm just, I'm yelling for bouncing my webcam and I'm not even live. I am definitely tired. All right, do I think I'm done yet? Oh no, got to do the other side. And it's a good thing because you really don't need to see me ink because we all know how to ink. okay, that piece is done, but then I realized, oh wait, the back of the door has white on it, so we need to do that too. So get the ink back out. Oh my goodness. You know, if there was a fly on a wall, he'd be like, lady, you have definitely lost your mind, but I am determined to get this video out. Okay, door's all done. The little leaf is going to be the doorknob with the brad, and I almost glued that down before I put the brad through. But I'm going to do some glitter embossing on the leaf just to give it, you know, a little shimmer and dimension. But of course, thank God you can see me in the shadow, because you can't see me where I'm at because I'm out of frame once again. So you can watch me in the shadow. And I just don't think I have enough on there, so I'll keep putting more. And instead of just using what's on, you know, the piece of paper, I keep sprinkling more glitter on it. Oh, I just want to get this video up. I will do a save as this time, because I don't know what happened, but I'll be calling Power Driver and returning this program because it's not working real well for me. My stomach's growling away. You guys can probably hear that. It's definitely past breakfast. How much of this video do we have to go? Oh, not too much longer, maybe 15 minutes, because then I have to upload it and get ready for Christmas. At 10 o'clock. It's 10 to 9. I'm pushing it a little close here. Am I done embossing that little bitty leaf yet? Oh, now I'm embossing it with the heat tool, so it'll be a minute for that. Do you see all the stuff building up around my desk and me working myself into a tiny little corner? I've gotten really good lately, but I don't know what happened. My brain started going and I just wanted to get going, and I was watching the time and it was just ticking away so fast. But I knew this was going to be a big project, and I did cut a lot out of it, but I didn't want to cut everything out. I wanted you guys to see my process and kind of see how my brain works, and as I'm touching things, my brain keeps going. Like when I figured out the back door part for the battery, that wasn't my intention until I started excuse me, touching things. What I didn't do is when I put the hole for the little leaf that's going to be the knob for the door to keep the door closed, I didn't measure it and put it in the right place. And it's in the way of the door opening and closing even when it's lifted up. So that'll be a process when I have to remove that when that time comes. So there's a bunch of things I'd like to cut out of this video, and I sat here for over an hour trying to do that before I did this, and I'm like, finally, I just got to do the voiceover and get this video out. Please watch it, you know, fast forward, watch it on the speed of 2. You will get the gist of everything. You will see it all like that. I talk fast now, so I'll talk even faster, so you'll have a good giggle, but you'll still be able to see everything, because I apologize for how long it is, but I did cut a lot out. I did want you to see the process, though, of what I was doing. I enjoy watching the process of how people create and how they come to the conclusions they come to on the things that they make. And when you just see someone starting and then you see an end, you're like, well, wait, how did they get there? What did they do? How did they come up with that? I like to see that, because that's how I create. So now it's going to seem like I'm using an excessive amount of glue, but I'm really not, because there's really not that much coming out that fast. So, but I do want it to stay down, every inch of it. So let's see how long we can glue. And for some reason, I chose to use Fabri-Tac at that moment when I was going to use my art glitter glue. And thank goodness I did, because I'm going to have to pull that whole side up. Because I'm seeing it happening, but I'm still not really paying attention that it's getting in the way. Because I must be telling my brain it's fine, and it's not. Oh, see? I finally realized it. It's like, wait, no matter where I turn this, my door's not in the way. So I'm actually going to grab a pair of scissors and think about cutting that little part of the leaf off, which I would. That is not me. So I'm there, I'm thinking, and I'm like, And then I'm going to pick up the scissors again and think about it some more. And then I'm going to be like, just lift it up and do it right. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to pick up the scissors again. And then I'm going to go, no. So if you have this problem and you're using Fabri-Tac, you can also take your heat tool, and if you heat it up, you'll be able to pull whatever you put down right off. Same as if you're using lace and fabric. It'll come right back up. And you can even heat up the glue that's down and warm it up. But I don't do that. I choose to just add more glue. But it's got to be right. It's been really weird to sit and talk to myself all night over and over again. But I'm determined to get this done. And again, I'm out of frame. So when I make the new hole, you won't even see the other one because the leaf covers it anyway, so it never shows. So it's all good. I was worried about that. And now I'm just going to struggle with this brad because my fingers were not cooperating at all yesterday for some reason. Especially my thumbs. There we go. Now we got it. Now we can add tons more glue. And like I hear water running. But I have the water in the bathroom running because it's so cold we don't want any pipes to burst. And there we go. Crisis averted. Phew! Yay! And there's the little door handle, and the door opens and closes, and that will house the battery compartment. And then I'm talking about the door, how if you don't like the white, you can add the other door that came in the kit that doesn't have the wreath on it, so it's like the inside and the outside of the door. That's why I was pointing to the wreath. And I think I'm going to shortly, I'm going to move all this stuff out of the way, and then I'm going to come back. I'm thinking this stuff goes on the back, but it doesn't. It goes on the, and then I'm like, nope, it doesn't go here. It goes on the front. That stays like that. I don't know why I was thinking about putting it on the back, because I want the back flat. So I know I'm going to all of a sudden, voila, and the tag's going to be here finished. And then we're going to see the magic happen. I'm talking about how I can add a hole, or where I'm going to put the ribbon, or how I can add the charm, and I've just run out of time, so that's not going to happen. And I was going to do glitter around it, and I decided to do, this is where I'm telling you that, and around the little pieces, but I didn't do that, and either I decided to do something else. So we're going to see that. I hope you hear me okay, because I'm seeing my sound is down lower this time, but you don't really need to hear me loud. And now I'm telling you how I'm going to put it all together, put the hanger on to hang it on the tree, put the battery compartment in, and then I'll come back and show it to you. And I'm going to put the die cuts of the branches and stuff on. I'm still talking about that little thing. Put it down, Laurel, because you don't use it. And here I am. I'm going to show you again. You know, use the bells, use the charms. But, yep, didn't get to use any of that. But let me tell you, I'm prepared for next year with the amount of stuff I have sitting around me. And for my continuing project I have to work on. Okay, we're getting close to being done. I think there's less than 5 minutes left. And voila! Woo! Yay! And I think I'm going to turn down the lights a little so you can actually see Santa peeking through the window that's lit up. And the lights at the bottom of the tree. And I think I'm explaining to you again to please go support the smaller shops, the Etsy shops and your local shops. And if you haven't watched it, to go watch them because they're, I don't know, it was just amazing. Tracy's amazing. This was just such a great idea for her to do. And I love, oh, my alarm. I love her creations. So I love her digitals. They just are so inspiring to me. And I'm telling you that was put on with collage medium, so I just have to be careful because it's definitely not dry yet. And you can see the hanger that I put in. I just used a ribbon. And I'm reaching, oh, I'm turning the lights off so I can show it to you now. I'm going to bring it up on the paper. Doesn't that look cool? We see Santa peeking through the window. And there's the tree and the lights at the bottom of the tree. I love the way it turned out. And then you see the branches, and I'm just telling you how I tucked them behind, and I have the day 25, the number 25 for today's date, which is now actually today's date. And I'm telling you how I ended up using muslin and wrapped it all the way around, and I just inked it with my Rustic Wilderness. And now I bumped my webcam, and I'm going to shake you all over Timbuktu trying to turn this light back on. Oh boy. And so it's wrapped around both sides, so it gives it some more stability too, and I don't have to worry about anything coming apart, and that's my main concern. And then I put the little word phrase down at the bottom. And now I'm going to show you the back and the door. It got stuck a little. And then I put a little pocket in there. And then the battery compartment is right inside the little pocket for when you need to change the batteries and turn it on and off. And I thought that was perfect to hide it because you didn't want to see that on the back of there. And voila, there you go. And now hopefully I'm going to show you the magic before I talk for a few minutes about nonsense. And then I'm going to show you how thick this is and that it's a little over 1/4 inch wide. I do remember that part. And still talking about the muslin. See how it's on both sides? I liked that much better too. It just kind of went with the old world stuff. It was all tattered. I think that's the word I want to use. And then now I'm going to show you the magic. Ready? Here comes the magic. Look at the tree, and it turns. I don't know why, I just thought that was the coolest thing. I saw that package, and that was the idea I had, was to put a tree in there with lights. And then I decided to make it spin, because it wasn't going to spin originally. I'm getting all kinds of messages and stuff. Why would a doctor's office be sending me a message on Christmas Day? I don't know. And we're almost done. And I'm talking about go out, try something different, use what's around your house. Just sit and play with it and see. I mean, to me, the more things I touch, the more ideas I get. That's why I've redone my room so that I can see all of my stuff. And I'm hoping to do a room tour soon. I can't even talk. Probably after Christmas when I clean up all the Christmas stuff. So you guys can see what I did to be able to see all of my things, because I am very much a visual person. If I don't see it, I don't know it's there. And I like to know what I have so I can start working with it. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this, and check out the other people that are joining in today on this and see what they've created. I will be back hopefully with another tag tonight for today, and also one for tomorrow for Boxing Day. So I hope everybody has a wonderful Christmas and enjoys their time with their family. Be safe, and I will see you all soon. And don't forget to get out there and create something. And I know I'm saying it before I'm saying it there, but I'm going to continue to shake my hands and talk about I don't know what at this moment. Just, I know I'm talking about the tags and, you know, and how I create, and, you know, just trying new things. And oh, I'm also going to be doing a series with all recycled stuff. So I've been saving up a lot of that this year as well. So we'll see how it goes. I hope it goes the way I have it planned, or close to it. Still talking. Still talking with my hands. And my hands are just so filled with glue. What is this? What is that waving? I know I'm saying something important. I just don't know what I'm saying anymore. Ink all over my hands, glue all over my hands. And I'm going to point up 2 fingers. I don't know what that means, meaning I'm glad it worked out, because I couldn't make 2 of these. Oh, I actually said goodbye. That must have been earlier.